All rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, students, faculty, and staff. Welcome to the WDCS announcements for Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Today is an even day. The word of the day is absolve. It means to free someone from responsibility. He was absolved of his chores because it was his birthday.
Weightlifting has practice after school today. The gaming club will meet today after school in 12:08. The film club will meet after school today in room 1226. There are only a few days left to purchase your Valentine's Day singogram. See Dr. Vincent Garrett or any course number. The House movie night is tomorrow night. Doors open at 6. The movie starts at 6:30. You must be picked up at 8:45.
I was born in 1744 to enslaved African parents in Clay Rock, New York. At the age of 6 months, I was purchased by John Ashey, whom I had worked for about 40 years. I was constantly abused by my owner, which left me no choice but to flee. Life took a turn when I heard the changes regarding the institution of slaves. Due to these changes, I filed a lawsuit against my owner. In 1783, my case was successfully presented before the county court in Great Barrington. The court granted me my freedom, making me the first slave to file a lawsuit against their owner. Who am I? I am Elizabeth Freeman.
I was brought into this world on October 6, 1917. I lived in Montgomery County, Mississippi, and I was the youngest of 20 other kids. I was not a slave, but I did live during the time of segregation. My parents were sharecroppers, and when I was 6, I started helping my family pick cotton. But when I was 12, I had to leave school to work and support my family. In 1944, I married Perry Harmer, and we lived and worked on a Mississippi plantation owned by D.D. Marlowe until 1962. Because I was the only worker who could read and write, I also served as the plantation timekeeper. In 1961, I received an hysterectomy by a white doctor without her consent while undergoing surgery to remove a uterine tumor. That is when they basically tie your tubes. Such forced sterilization of black women was a way to reduce the black population, and it was popular at the time. This made me become a huge advocate for women's rights as well as civil rights, because this was a personal attack on my identity as well as the identity of those like me, such as my children. That summer, I attended a meeting led by civil rights activist James Foreman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and James Bevel of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. I was inspired by efforts to deny the blacks' rights to vote. I became an SNCC organizer on August 31st, 1962, and led 17 volunteers to register to vote at Enola, Mississippi Courthouse. I was later denied the right to vote due to an unfair literacy test. Then, my group was harassed on our way home when the police stopped our bus and fined us $100 for a charge that the bus was too yellow. Skipping forward, after successfully completing a voter registration program in Charleston, South Carolina, me and several other black women were arrested for sitting in a whites-only bus station restaurant in Winola, Mississippi. At the Winola jailhouse, me and several other women were brutally beaten, leaving me with lifelong injuries from a blood clot in my eye, kidney damage, and leg damage. But this didn't stop me though, as I repeatedly fought to register to vote as a black woman and helped over half of my fellow black Mississippians to do the same. I later co-founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party with Ella Baker and Bob Moses to oppose the state's all-white party, and this set off a whole new political wave for freedom of black people. Who am I? I am Femi Lou Harmer.
When Maria Paraskeva, a woman from Cyprus, got married in August 2018, her goal wasn't just to get married. She also wanted to set the world record for the longest wedding veil. which is the part of the dress that covers the bride's face. As she did it, the veil was 22,843 feet long. That's as long as 63.5 football fields, or almost the distance from DCS to Aventura Mall.
We'd like to wish happy birthday to Erica Martin, Gary Paulino, and Stephen Dickinson. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Have a big day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And that's a wrap.